we're going to be talking about the GPR versus the SBR, or the recce rifle versus the general purpose rifle. I think we've kind of gotten away from calling them the recce rifles. I think people are finally realizing they're not going to be doing too much recce with a rifle, depending on where you live. As I always say, terrain dependent is one of the biggest things when it comes to making a lot of your decisions. But we're going to be comparing the rifle I've been running for quite a long time. This is the first Geissele Super Duty I ever got. Some people ask me how come the rail is FDE and the receiver is black. Isn't that only for URGIs? Well, yes, but I had the rail Cerakoted, and I also had a lower Cerakoted. So as you can see here, this lower Cerakoted, it was Cerakoted to match that, and then I had some Ranger wrap on the upper receiver, so you really couldn't tell it was black. But then when I got the second upper in the DDC, I wanted it all FDE, so this is what we got here. We are still running the Griffin Mark II lower on both of these Geissele Super Duty uppers that are all completed with Geissele parts. But yeah, this rifle I've been running for a year and a half. This is the Griffin 1-8 LVPO. Dude, I love this LVPO. If I was going to buy like a $1,700 LVPO, a Night Force, the Primary Arms PLXC, that's the only thing that would get me to get rid of this LVPO, or something like that. And then when I get one of those, I hope I actually do like them for that amount of money, because for $500, this LVPO has been my favorite. I have boxes of scopes. I tried the Arkin 1-8. I tried the Athlon 1-10 Helos BTR, which is the second focal plane. I tried the Athlon Helos 2-12, which is the first focal plane, but because of the super high turret, I couldn't get clearance for the 8-point acro that I run on top. So anyways, this setup, talking about this setup, yes, I have a vertical grip on there, and I also have a bipod. So, I mean, it looks like Lethal Corp is not going to be a fan of this build here. But for me, when I'm running this size weapon, right, which is a 13.9 pin and welded, if I do run a suppressor on it, my Goon Beam yet is a great light. It's not the lightest light, probably the same weight actually as the Streamlight Protex. And yes, Streamlights and Goon Beams you can run Surefire pressure pads and mod buttons with. You just need the adapter. But yeah, talking about this rifle here, man, I still probably feel the most confident with this over my 12.5 setup, and I highly considered taking this entire optic setup, putting it onto the 12.5, just because it cuts a lot of weight and it changes the way the gun runs. When you're slinging it for long periods of time, when I'm running close-up shots, I'm a little faster. During transitions, I just have less mass that I'm moving around and having to lug around. The bipod, even though this is not the best, most sturdy bipod in the world, it's a quick detach. I can unscrew this knob right here and just decide I no longer want it on there, and it's off that fast. So yeah, I like that setup. It definitely runs better without the bipod, to be honest with you. Even though this bipod is basically just a chunk of plastic and it's very light, it doesn't have the sturdiest legs, but it does bipod things when it's on. But yeah, so comparing, like, should you be running a setup like this, or should you be running a red dot magnifier, right? What are we gonna go to? What is going to be the go-to setup? I do think it's terrain dependent. I do think if I had to bring two rifles with me, I want both of these. And the one thing I think that even gave me any hope of running a red dot magnifier combo was running the EOTech 5X magnifier. And the EOTech 5X magnifier, you know, basically I can go from 1 to 5X, which you're looking like, dude, that's basically a 1 to 6X LVPO almost. The capabilities of that greatly increase my level of magnification from 3 to 5. I know people think it's just 2 more magnification, but I'm comparing it to 8X, right? So it's like, if I have only 3X, or I can go all the way to 8, I'm probably going to want the 8X just because observation purposes. So the fact that I went all out with the 1 to 5 or the 5X EOTech magnifier, that kind of made me feel confident that, hey, I'm going to give this setup a go, because now I have a red dot, so not as high, so my holdover is a little less up close, and I also have magnification. It's also QD, so I can just take it off and throw it in a pack or in a pouch and lighten up the rifle. But like overall, I haven't really noticed a reason to take it off because the weight of this just doesn't bother me at all. If I was running suppressed, maybe, but if I'm running suppressed, I probably want magnification because I'm already gonna have some signature reduction, stuff like that. Both of these take that suppressor that you see right here next to me, which is the Griffin Armament Recce 5K. I probably will get a second one or a third one because it's a simple can with partial flow through technology that works great. I do believe they stopped making the Recce 5K in that configuration. Now they're 3D printed in their custom nickel, patented nickel stuff that they 3D printed, which has had tests done to reduce heat even more than Inconel and take more abuse than Inconel. So go check out Griffin Armament suppressors. Obviously, I'm running 2 Griffin Armament Mark II lowers here, ambi lowers. Do you need ambi? No. And I will say when I'm on the glass, so when I'm running the Lpvo, I actually like it because I can stay on the glass, and instead of having to move my hand back here to hit my bolt, I can stay on glass, do a reload, and hit my bolt. And I do like having the ambi bolt release, which not all ambi lowers have, but I do like having that when I'm running a magnified optic like this. Yeah, I mean, granted, I could just go here and run my hand up, but I can just, it's a little bit quicker, and it's just something I like to have. Do you need ambi? No, you don't. But with that being said, like, would I take this rifle over that setup that you saw there? If I didn't have the 5X magnifier, yeah, I would. And the price of the 5X magnifier is basically the price of this Lpvo. Cost for cost, like this Reptilia scope mount, a $500 optic, you got another $500-600 with an aim point acro. Do you need to buy the actual aim point acro? Could you run a different, cheaper optic up top? Yes, you definitely could. But you're looking at like $1,000 just on this optic setup alone, or actually a little more. And that's with running a $500 optic, right? Like if you were going to run a higher end Night Force or Primaris PLXC or a Trijicon VCOG or something, like you're looking at $2,500 for the right piece of glass. But overall, I gotta say, like, I'm thrilled. I've done a review on this scope. Go check it out. It's under my videos. But I love this setup. One little thing is it doesn't come with a throw lever. So, like, if you don't have a throw lever on your LVPO, MVPO, whatever, these are actually been awesome, dude. They're basically like a zip tie that the top of it screws onto the threads of the zip tie, and it's large, so like you could throw it super fast. The only thing you don't want to do is obviously get it like right in front of your optic, right? But what I did was I set that on like 2.5, because when am I ever really using 2.5? So if I go to 3, it's over. If I go to 1, it's clear. So don't really have an issue with that. If you set that in the right place, then it shouldn't be an issue at all. But I do prefer this as like my general purpose setup more than the red dot. I just think the red dot magnifier combo actually gives me a more simplistic setup, slightly more rugged, and also I can run the laser aiming module with that whole situation, right? So if I needed to use my digital night vision, or if I came across some analog night vision, like the gun is already set up to run a laser. So weight for weight, I think both of these are really fine. Weight, if I had this probably on a 12.5 and I could do a direct comparison, it'd be really hard to make that decision. I initially wish I would have gone with a 12.5, and one day maybe I'll pick up a second 12.5 upper or Griffin Armament. I know you guys make a 12.5, holler at your boy. I think this would be great to be running on a Griffin Armament 12.5 upper. But the 12.5 with the balance just gives me a lot of capability. So I feel like even though I can pile on optics like this, optics on top of optics, the weight of it and the balance of it, they work really well for me. But that being said, like, I'm leaning towards, obviously I want my shorter barrel length if I'm not running through the woods, or I'm in a big open spaces. Anything suburban to urban, I'm going with this setup. Absolutely. And the reason I'm going with that setup is because I want to be able to do things a little bit quicker with this red dot, even though the training that I've done over a year and a half, which I'm kind of reaching a little bit new levels of capabilities, getting much more proficient at things right now. But yeah, I do feel great running. An aim point acro is a phenomenal optic on its own, right? So I've shot this aim point acro out to 400 yards. I'm running a 50-yard zero on that with a 100-yard zero on this. And then here I'm just running a standard 36-yard zero, right? And the laser is zeroed to the red dot. So just that alone, on top of the height over board, my holdover and everything's a little bit faster on this. I still am torn between this optic setup and this optic setup. So I think if I got that FDE PLX CRDB in this mount, I probably would go back to running it on the 12.5, just because I really like the capabilities. I like the capability of observing, watching impacts. So like even at 200 yards, you know, with a 5X, I can see impacts very well. But I'm also looking through 4 different layers of glass, which I don't know, there might be multiple layers of glass inside the Lpvo as well. I'm not sure, but there's just something about having the both, the red dot and the scope together, that I prefer. Like it makes life easy when it comes to whatever I want to do. If I want to shoot out to 500, you know, I have much more clarity with 8X than 5X and an Lpvo style optic versus red dot magnifier. It's a hard choice to make. That's why I think you should have 2 setups and figure out which one do you run the best. When you put yourself on a time, when you put yourself to a timer, a shot timer, like, is it negligible for you to run this setup versus just having that red dot that you think is so much faster? And yeah, I probably will dedicate a range day to going back and forth, like head to head. And but overall, like, I do feel competent and equipped with both of these setups. I've been running this probably for about 6 months now, and I just keep getting better and better with it. I do like some of the simplicity of just pulling up a dot and sending it. Where when you are running this magnified setup, like if I keep it on 4.5X, and there's a 70-yard target with observation that I want to see an impact, or I want to take a more precise shot at that distance. Let's say there's some traffic around that area, right? There's multiple people or something, and I want to take a very precise shot. Sometimes 4.5X is a lot, right? So like even just going to that 2.5 right there, then I feel like having 2.5X it's an awesome capability. That's why you see some people who run 3X prisms. Like, they love the 3X prism. They like taking shots at 25, 50. When you get good with that, or it just becomes natural, then I feel like you do get a little bit more precision. The right magnification for the right situation makes a shot easier, in my opinion. Now that could just be I need more time shooting, and that's it. Like, I need to know my hold from 36 to 60 a little better when I'm running the red dot. With this and 100-yard zero, it's pretty much point of aim, point of impact at the top of the chevron, and I'm smacking it. So it might be a little bit low, a hair low. Should be a hair low at 60, and that should be a hair high. The impact should be a little bit high of the dot. This should be a little bit low of the chevron. And then having to memorize all that kind of stuff, like, I'm actually pretty good at like knowing what I'm running and what that hold is. Once I have something in my hands, I'm like 100 yards, 50 yards. Okay, I know what I'm doing. Could I just use my red dot at that distance? Absolutely, I could. But it just depends on the situation, right? It depends on how precise I'm trying to be. Some of this is like competing against my fellow shooter. Whereas in a combat situation, if I really needed to exercise that force, then maybe I would just send it, right? But like I said, if it was something very precise, like I like talking about different scenarios. So this just goes right on like that, and then you screw it in. I like talking about different scenarios, but I mean, the scenario could be something public, in a public space, so you want to be very precise. And let's say it's at 75 yards. With a red dot magnifier, now I have 5x. 5x can be a little much for 75 yards, right? So like I said, with the Lpvo, I do have that red dot. With a 50-yard zero, I could smack it with that. Or if I have the time and I want to be more precise, I can just put this on about 3x at 75 yards and take a very precise shot, still maintaining a large field of view. And so those are all kinds of things that obviously every setup is going to have give and takes, benefits and negatives. I just think you get the most benefits with this. And yeah, this has been obviously my go-to for a really long time. So I just am more accustomed to it. Well, if you like this video, y'all, hit the like button. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, whether or not you like the Lpvo red dot setup better, whether you like a red dot magnifier, or maybe your thing is the ACOG at the 4X and the dot on top, which I think is awesome as well. I've considered with the red dot magnifier combo, I believe, who's the company? It might be Unity that makes a 4X magnifier versus a 5X. The thing is I'd always rather have more than run a 3X. Sometimes I feel like 3X is a little underpowered for observation purposes or going out to like 300 or 400 yards. And beyond. But these are my thoughts, man. Engage in the comments. Appreciate it. Thank you for watching the video, and hit the subscribe button if you like this kind of information. I'm doing more talks of like stuff that's on my mind, stuff that has come to my mind over my time and my experience, and sharing it with you guys. And if you like it, stick around. This is your brother Nomad Remnant. We'll see you on the next one. Later.